In 1821, in the city of Boston, Massachusetts, the first public high school was opened. Now, nearly 200 years after that, there are almost 100,000 public schools across the United States. The creation of the first public school system is perhaps one of America's greatest visions. The idea that every child has access to education free of cost and through it has the unlimited opportunity to better themselves and fully realize the American dream. But unfortunately, there is mounting evidence today that this dream is no longer being fully realized. A perfect storm of chronic underfunding, economic and racial segregation, and unprecedented changes in the tools of modern learning have created a true crisis in our modern education system. The scope of this problem is troubling indeed.
The landscape is troubling because we still operate a public education system that is not aligned with the realities the students face. And so we're actually delivering services to a population of students in a system that's not aligned with what they deal with each and every day. It's not even aligned with the realities our teachers face. Years ago, when I went to school, and I'm a little older than most, you know, parents sent students to school. We knew why we were there. There was a specific purpose for us being in schools. Teachers were there and they personally took stock of teaching students. When you leave my class, you're gonna know this because I taught you. Teachers today face so many different issues because parenting is not the same, school leaders are not the same, society is not the same. And so we are working in a system that's no longer aligned with the realities our students face.
I watch kids today and they spin because they're just trying to find worth. I watch them today and they're trying to compete for value, for that elusive self-esteem, instead of that high quality of self-worth. And when we're spinning to try to find an identity that we used to get at home and in the community, a sense of belonging, we could come to school, learn our ABCs, 1, 2s, 3s, how to write, all that, and go home and learn those other things that gave us the ability to walk in with confidence, to walk in with identity, to walk in realizing that I'm valuable, that I have worth, that no matter what happened here at school, my major identity came from my existence outside of the school.
Today's generation of students are unlike any generation we've ever seen before. They face more issues, more problems. And so there are so many social issues that we face that by the time the student gets into the classroom, you have to peel back the layers of all the issues that they're facing to get to the math, the science, the English, and the social studies. We have to raise children now before we're able to teach them.
Maybe they don't have food at home. Maybe they're not safe at home because they have an abusive parent. No matter what the child's place they originate from, that's where we must teach them from.
In research, it shows late 1950s, early 60s, there were 5 major influences on school-age children in America: home, school, church, peer influence, and television, right? And so the late 1980s, early 90s, that shifted. Those 5 major influences flipped. And today, home is the least of 5 major influences, with multimedia influence being first, peer influence being second, school is third, church is fourth. And so that whole dynamic of who's influencing our children then is directly correlated to the services provided to them. There's so many social issues that we face that by the time the student gets into the classroom, you have to peel back the layers of all the issues that they're facing to get to the math, the science, the English, and the social studies. We have to raise children now before we're able to teach them.
Grading never started. A through F grades didn't start as a way to evaluate learning. A through F grading started as a socioeconomic sorting tool.
My experience in public school was, I guess, kind of like a business relationship. You have your teacher that you see for 1 year, and then you don't see him again, you're done.
Sometimes we attack so quickly on the academics at the very beginning of the school year because we've got so much to cover for the test that we don't take the time to love the child.
The students turned to him and they said, "That's not how you teach. Why are we in these rows being quiet, only looking at you, and you're at the front of the class talking at us? That's not how you teach. We don't like this." And he said, "I know, but that's the way learning is supposed to look. It's what they've come to expect."